Throughout this video series, we address the different pedagogy components built into our basic HyperDoc template. This video will explore reflection and how reflection can be built into a lesson to help students hold on to learning. We address that age-old question in education: how do I make learning stick for my learners? This is our basic lesson plan template. It has all the pedagogy that we believe in embedded right into the lesson plan, starting with an engagement, leading into exploration, a chance for direct instruction, always an opportunity to apply learning, a chance to share with others and extend the four walls of the classroom, an opportunity to reflect, and then to extend learning when necessary to help students dig deeper into individual interests. Today, we're going to zoom in on this idea of reflection. When and how can we best integrate web tools and best practices into our HyperDoc lesson design? Inspired by John Dewey, I have come to realize that reflection is a critical part of learning. It helps students metacognitively manage new information. This is inherently how knowledge comes to be. We can't simply teach bell to bell. We must save time for reflection. One type of reflection is to get students to reflect on themselves. Let's look at this HyperDoc lesson where our friend Heather Marshall creates a lesson around student name and identity. Now, this particular lesson has most of the components in the basic lesson plan template. It's missing the engagement and extension activities, but she's got explore, explain, apply, share, and reflect. Let's zoom in on this reflection. So down on this slide, right after the students have done all this incredible thinking work about their name and identity, she invites them to some next level reflection. She asks them in step 1 here, after reading the blog post written by your friends about their names, make an acrostic poem using their friends' descriptions that also describe you. So they're having to do some compare contrast about themselves in relation to their friends. Then she invites a creative element, make your acrostic poem using Google Draw. Lastly, she provides some question stems right into the HyperDoc lesson to help them do that deeper level reflection work. Were you surprised by how much you had in common with any of your classmates? What new things did you learn about someone else? And what about yourself? And then she invites them to do this oral reflection using Flipgrid. This is a beautiful example of how to make learning stick for students and invite them into that next level self-reflection. Another type of reflection is thinking about content. We want to know if our skills and standards have had an impact on student learning. In this particular HyperDoc titled Reflect, the teacher was curious about what teaching points, skills, and standards students felt most comfortable with at the end of an entire 5 to 6 week reading unit. So the questions are really geared towards what was most surprising to you. How has writing about your reading helped you? Really thinking about different processes involved. Let's think about talking. Did talking about text help you as part of this book club? And here's where she can really drill down into the content standards. What did you learn about theme, realistic fiction, and author's craft, all of which were taught throughout the unit? What was a challenge that you faced as a reader? And then looking back at your notebook, what are you most proud of? So the students are encouraged to go back and look at the knowledge that they've curated and kept within their own notebook. What was your favorite part of book clubs? Thinking about book clubs, is that something that was valuable for you? Write a letter to the author sharing your best thinking work. So this really validates the content that the child would have learned. There's some extra fun goodies thrown in at the end, but overall you can see that the teacher will know at the end of this reflection HyperDoc how much learning happened and what she needs to rework on moving forward. Learning is a process, and it's important that we give students an opportunity to think about how they learn, not just what they learn. Sometimes it seems silly to encourage students to think about how they learn, but this 20-time HyperDoc does a really incredible job of encouraging students to think not only about what they do and create, but how that's working for them. So here's the title slide. What will you do with 20% time? In this next component, students are exploring what 20 time is, and then they get the details explained to them and all of the guidelines needed to be successful. Ultimately, the students are looking at different examples and then they're off to create on their own. What's really amazing about this particular lesson is that students are reflecting on the process weekly from this document. 20% time encourages students to spend 20% of their learning time working on a choice-oriented project. Now, what's amazing about this is that Kelly has created a document right in the HyperDoc where students reflect on these 3 questions. What did you do this week in order to work towards your project goal? What can I do to support you? And on a scale of 1 to 4, rate how well you worked towards your project goal. So what this is encouraging right alongside the doing and the creating is the thinking about the doing and the creating, which was Dewey's wisdom to help students hold on to learning. Now, looking back at this lesson, the next phase of this is to encourage students to share and reflect on their final product. But what was so nice is that Kelly developed a TED Talk final culmination to this project where kids not only shared their product, but also spoke to the learning process. And that shows how the process can be just as valued as the product of learning. You'll find these 3 lessons and others in our K-12 Student Reflection Pack. Also included in the bundle are question stems for you to use with any age that you teach. You can pass that handout directly to students and invite them to choose their own reflection questions, or you can borrow some of those and embed them directly into your HyperDocs. We can't wait to see how you foster a love of reflection with the students that you work with. We hope this video, along with our others, will help you design digital lessons that create meaningful experiences for your learners. Please join us on social media, subscribe to this Teachers Give Teachers YouTube channel, and meet us at hyperdocs.co to continue to transform teaching and learning together.